Hello, welcome back. I am Tanya and this is the Soapy Bubble. So we are on our fourth Falling for You soap in this fall series. And this one was the one that was unexpected. And hindsight's 2020, and looking back, there is something I should have done different. I should put this in my notes. Hopefully I will remember to. But that's all for the video. So we will check that out in the video. Everything that happened there. Don't forget the chit chat at the end of the video so you can hear about all the goings on. So let's roll this beautiful soap footage and check out Pine Cone Party. Okay, into our soap Pine Cone Party. Now you see that temperature, 120, 119. There's always something that goes wrong with a soap, especially when you're trying to do intricate swirls. You've never used the fragrance oil before, and your oils are at 120. Yes, I blame my impatience on this. Totally. So this originally was not going to be how it turned out. And that, I swear, I'm going to start making you guys diagrams of how it was supposed to look, and then you get to see how it looks, right? But first, for the fragrance oil. This fragrance oil is frosted pine cones from Nature's Garden. And like I said, out of the bottle, it was like, right? This is one of those fragrance oils that just blooms as it cures. It was utterly amazing to keep smelling it while it cured. Although that dark color right there from the fragrance oil, that kind of freaked me out a little bit. Yeah, I was like, what is this? Well, what do you do, right? So, yeah, I was actually, this was supposed to be a fun drop swirl. And I probably shouldn't have panicked as much as I did, but we'll get to that. Let's start with colors. This one is Fire Cider from Nurture's Homemade. This is just brown oxide. Okay, so it's not a mica color, it's just brown oxide. And then this is just green oxide. So some very, base colorants. And I was really disappointed, I'll tell you right now, with the Fire Cider. I love that color, but I didn't see pop this, and I didn't use enough of it. So it's totally my fault, but I was so disappointed with it. I'll just tell you that right now. And then my last color is just some titanium dioxide for some white light color. So to note, there was also more testing besides the fragrance oil. I was doing a 2-to-1 with my water solution. To simplify, that just means that if I need 3 ounces of lye for my soap, I'm going to use 6 ounces of water for the solution. And that's not my normal thing, but I am trying to lower my water content, even though it doesn't work the best depending on what you're doing, I have found out. And I kind of this was the first soap that I was like literally pushing down that far. And so of course I panicked, and I shouldn't have, because it's not like they were that bad. But I poured the oxide, the brown oxide color here, and I just went, oh no, like this is not going to work. Because as you can see in my bowl even, it's just a chunk of batter. And I have seen people on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, and they're like, oh, it's not so bad, and I'm thinking, this is horrid. This is too chunky for me. Like, are all my soaps going to do this? But I just think it was a blend of things, and also soaping too warm. Okay? I used to soap at 120 all the time. I didn't do intricate swirls or anything like that, though, either. Unless it was certain fragrance oils that would, slow down trace. Let's just go with trace. And then realizing, as I learned that, when you're closer to that 100 mark, right? That's the little sweet spot. Some people soap at room temp, and sometimes that causes problems. Sometimes it doesn't. It's all personal preference and what you're comfortable with. But that 100 degrees is kind of a sweet spot in soaping, to where if your lye water is 100, mine's usually lower than that. But as long as it's lower than my oils, and my oils are around 100, I usually don't have problems. And I did the same thing with, let's see, the strawberry champagne, the orange, and the cranberry orange. I did that one the same. The pumpkin spice, well, there's not really much there. But the one coming up, the gingerbread latte, I did a pretty good swirl on that one. And the same thing as here. So I'm going to totally blame it on of course myself, because I'm the one making the soap. But I'm going to blame it on the fact that I was running at 120 degrees to start with those oils. Yeah, absolutely. And just not being comfortable with my lye water, that low. The water solution in the lye, that low. Okay, I think that's I can't remember, is it 24%? Compared to a 38% is a huge decrease. You know what I'm saying there? It's a huge decrease. And there's other things I could do. Okay, so let's look at this, and hindsight's 2020, isn't it? Okay, worst case, I could have dumped it all into one big bowl and mixed it a few times and then poured it into the mold. That would have given me some interesting colors, some interesting swirls. Okay, number 2, I could have layered it like I did here, as you can, as you've been watching me layer. I could have took a hanger to it and just did a very thin, like not a big swooping, okay, but just the big vertical, dun 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 dun. You know what I'm saying there? Didn't we do one? Oh no, that one's coming up. Never mind. But I could have took the hanger swirl to this a little bit and maybe manipulated some of those layers. Not that it's the worst thing in the book. You've seen the thumbnail. It's not the worst. It's a very different type of soap than I normally do. So that was great also. Other than that, I guess I could have used it and tried to do one of those Taiwan swirls, I mean, I definitely had thick enough soap to do, anything to make, to do thick soap. Could have done some piping. I mean, so many options. What I should have done was kept some of that brown oxide and made like little baby pine cones with pine needles like underneath, and but like I said, hindsight's 2020. I was just panicking because I hadn't started my fall soaps at the time, and just, I got to get these done. I need to get these started. They were all planned out. They were all good. And then I was thinking I need to drop my water content. Maybe it will help with the soda ash and, all these things. And then this is the first one I do, literally. And for the top, I am just doing... So what I was supposed to do was take this and then take the skewer and go side to side with it. okay, like across the green, the orange, the green, the orange, the green, the orange, the green, the orange, right? And then I sat there and I was like, well, we could swirl this. It's really chunky and big and everybody knows red and brown make, or red and green make brown. So some of that orange and the green gives it a little brown color. So I almost got some 2-tone or 3 tones of color in here. And I just thought it was really cool. But since it was frosted pine cones, even though that's not the name of my soap, it's Pine Cone Party, I put a little bit of eco glitter. You can't go wrong with a little bit of eco glitter, you guys. No. Whoops. Or a lot of eco glitter. But there it is, the Pine Cone Party. And here it is the next day. Yes, and now you can see why I am disappointed with that fire cider. And like I said, it wasn't the fire cider's fault. I did not pop this. I just left it. I covered it with a towel. And, it wasn't its fault. But you know what? It's really not that bad of a soap. It's cute. It's got some layers. It's got some, things going on top because of the little swirlage. And so, yeah, I'm super happy with this. Like, I usually cut within 24 hours. I've noticed I've been waiting like closer to 48 to cut these, which, if you soap, you just know it's not that bad of a thing, right? Now, because the soap was so thick, I do have some holes that, might need to be fixed. And you've seen me fix holes before. You just stick some of the more softer soap in those holes, and there you go. You just rub it across. And oh yeah, you saw me do Cherry Bliss. Yeah, that was a whole lot of holes. If you haven't seen Cherry Bliss, go back like one video, or not one video, but to the just a few videos back to Cherry Bliss if you want to see me fix holes. Yeah, that was a hole fixer. But back to the soaps. I think they turned out cute. I got the lines. You got the top. They smell good. What else can you ask for in a soap? Here are the fragrance notes for these interesting bars. Here are the bars when I first cut them. And here are the bars when they are totally cured. So school started last week, and I'm always a little sad when it starts. I mean, I only have one child in school, and he drives himself. It just always makes me a little sad. It makes me think back to when my kids were little. Like, my oldest daughter loved kindergarten. Like, she couldn't wait to go. Absolutely loved it. Loved her teacher. Bawled her eyes out when she found out that it was over and she was going to move on to first grade and have a new teacher. Like, literally. And my other daughter, same thing. But they had the same teacher, and she was spectacular. Right? And, bawled her eyes out. And it's just stuff like that, those first days of school starting, how nervous they are, and then how they don't want to leave. Well, that was my girls. The boys were a different story. Yes, my oldest son thought he didn't have to go to school because he was going to be a farmer and he didn't need any education. However, this is the child that went all the way through school into college, got a college degree in farming, business, something like that. He really loved kindergarten, but he was also the child who had peanut and tree nut allergies, so all the kids, they were so cute. Like, his class was so conscientious about that. Like, if somebody brought peanut butter sandwich or peanut butter product to school, they would literally take him and shove him across the room to keep him safe. However, this is also the child who colored on Red Day, he colored the apples green because he liked green apples and locked himself in his locker because instead of running away from school, he just hid. Those were the first few days. And then my middle son was the little smarty who was telling his kindergarten teacher how to pronounce the dinosaur names. And he proceeded to go through elementary school, basically being the teacher's helper because he caught on to everything so quickly. And by the time he hit 5th grade, he was teaching the math class for her because he could explain it in different ways that she couldn't and connect with some kids. But his 5th grade teacher always told me, she's like, I can tell a joke and it goes over everybody's head, but he's in the back, just laughing, and everybody's like, what is so funny? But he got it. He got her, he understood those bigger outside jokes, probably just because of our family dynamic. But my youngest son, he was at school and my daughter was subbing the first day, and he came out of school and she's like, how was your first day? And he goes, it sucks and I'm never coming back. Oh gosh, yes. And he was the one who did not have a very easy time at school, and we didn't know about it because for some reason he didn't tell us. And gosh, looking back, I wish I would have known. But he never argued. He never said, I want to stay home. Never did. Such a strong child. Are there any stories you have that you remember about your children going to school, or funny things that happened this year? Yeah, I'm always a little sad, and even though there's no reason to be sad, I'm at that point where, pretty soon it's going to be an empty nest, and, all the things I can do with the space. No, okay. I'm kidding. I do not kick my kids out. When they're ready to go, they're ready to go. And I hope they're ready to go. No, I hope they are prepared when they're ready to go, because that is my job, to prepare them. Scary. But anyway, I will leave you with 3 things. Dream big. Be true to you, and you are worth it. And as always, I hope you had a good time. Thank you for dropping by. I will see you next time, and God bless.